Hey everyone, this is Joel from Inlet's Hollow. I hope you guys are doing well today. In this video, we're just going to do a Q&A. I've had a few questions on Discord and elsewhere that I've sort of written a script together for, and I want to answer your questions. Feel free to ask me any questions about any of the content I speak about or discuss in my videos. I'd love it if you were to leave a comment down below on any of my videos asking for me to elaborate more on this. Yeah, just really, let's get involved and start sharing perspectives and differences of opinion and beliefs and experiences, and I think it'll be really positive. So we're going to start, the first question is from Nymphy. What are your favourite beings to work with? So this is a tough question for me. I work with all manner of beings, regardless of race, energies, everything. I myself am a dark being. A lot of the beings I work with associate with chaos, void, darkness, or shadow. But for me, my favourite beings, it's really about their persona and personality and the sort of character that they are. I really like people that have an unruly spirit, a bit wild, live by the heart, embrace their freedoms. They're a character, fun to be around, Yeah, so that's sort of the beings or just people I like to work with. They're my favourites. I do really like the company of void and shadow beings. I just like the fact that they're very wily. They're just wild cards, enjoyable to be around, much like myself. Generally, they're also quite knowledgeable and talented in their different areas. Second question we had was from Rising Elm. I would like to know more about the connections with souls you have in the different realms. You also could talk about what it's like being a spirit keeper and what it takes to establish a connection with another being. You could also talk about what to expect as a new spirit keeper, as many people give up because they were given the wrong idea from the start. Okay, so there's a lot in this question. Everything I say you can take as a pinch of salt, basically. I come from a very specific background. I draw on a lot of different beliefs and experiences, and they might not coincide with yours, and that's okay. So to begin with, I'm a lead figure. I inhabit a variety of realms and worlds in the planar, and I do work there. In majority of those worlds, other than one or two, I'm a lead figure in the hierarchy of the government, and I have a lot of power and influence. I help to run worlds, civilizations, economies, militaries, livelihoods, basically. My actions on a daily basis have a direct impact on the lives of hundreds of millions to billions of people or spirits. That's the perspective I come in from. I don't keep spirits, I work alongside them, live alongside them, work with them to ensure a prosperous and better future for everyone involved. They're my family, my kindred, and my brethren. I want you to think of being a spirit keeper as being a person with a friendship group or circle. How do you make friends? You get to know people, their interests, likes, dislikes, hobbies, get to know more about their personal history, aspirations, goals, fears, their relationships with others, and so on. It's the same thing with spirits. We put these spirits on a pedestal, but they're really no different to us. They're just not currently incarnated on a physical plane. They're just contained within the spiritual plane, but they're no different to you or I. So you need to think of them as friends, not as this, faraway entity. Admittedly, some beings are, not the average kind and not really easily accessible. That they are on that sort of pedestal because of their years of experience, their practices, their abilities, or just the raw power. But still treat them as a person. Obviously, you just be a lot more respectful and careful with the entire interaction. So this is what it takes to be a spirit keeper. You forge these platonic connections over time, and through effort, you're making friendships, almost adding to some sort of extended family. It's as simple as that, but inherently it's not simple. Moving from stranger to acquaintance to friend to family, even, it all takes time and effort, and it's not a simple process. It's, based off your interpersonal abilities with others. For these reasons, I don't really like the term spirit keeper. there are a lot of terms in the spirit keeping community, and I understand why they're there, and it's good to have terms, makes conversation simple rather than saying, um, you know, spirit conjurations. I can just say spirit or companion, you know. It helps cut down on the wordplay and the minutiae in between. But I don't like the term because it sort of reinforces the fact that these entities and souls are sort of almost objects or tradable. You know, they're chips to trade away. They're not. These are living people with their own lives, dreams, fears, heartaches, you know, griefs. Treat them like they're people, like you would a friend down the street or a stranger in public or a family member. Treat them like they're not. Don't put them on a pedestal unless the situation warrants it and they're, you know, a higher someone with on a higher level than you. But generally, just treat them like they're people. You know, even in society, we idolize celebrities, but they're, other than their wealth and their talent or whatever it may be, they're not different to you or I. They've just put in the work, attained, you know, a lot of wealth, and they now have political or you know, societal influence. Other than that, they're just people. They still eat, sleep, drink, etc. They're not gods. They're not, you know, walking gods. It's really not what they are. Yeah, so treat them like they're people. Treat spirits like they're people. You know, it takes time and it can be difficult getting to know anyone. You know, some difficulties you might face as a spirit keeper is the fact that, you know, the spirit might, after a month of vetting, might refuse to go through the binding. And we would, of course, respect their wishes and not force anything upon them. They might, like everyone has their quirks and their beliefs and differences of opinion, so too do spirits and their people. They might have bad history with certain beings. There's always generally a sort of rift between dark beings and light beings. There is a bit of I apologize, this is going to cause some trouble, but vegans and vegetarians versus, you know, omnivores or people that eat both meat and veg. Sometimes there's a bit of a general disconnect between two opposing sides. And it's the same with light and dark beings. Light beings embody things that dark beings don't like, and dark beings embody things light beings don't like. There's just a disconnect, and they don't like each other generally. That's a generalization, but it is the way it is. They may not like them, but you can work with them, you can make friends with them. There's always just a sort of a general instinctual, intuitive disconnect there, unless they have a duality or they've made peace and they've grown on their path. But in the beginning, there's that disconnect. So the spirit might have history with other beings and be opposed to them or different situations. For example, one of the spirits I list on my store, Rowan, he's basically an earth elemental spirit. He really draws from nature, and he really doesn't like people that don't respect nature. So if I were to pair him with someone that doesn't really have a regard for nature and, you know, sort of littering or caring about the environment, that would create a very negative situation for both people, both Rowan, the spirit, and whoever he's bonded to or bound to. You know, it would be a very difficult situation. So I think the difficulties with spirit keeping is getting to know the spirit and vetting them. You know, spirits are people. They might change their mind. They have different opinions. It's all about trying to reconcile, be mindful and aware of these different spirits and what they like and don't like, and trying to find the perfect match for them as best as you can. I think that's what's difficult. My third question was from Adelan. What are some more examples of key systems? Look, this is a tricky question to answer. There is a plethora of different magical systems out there, far beyond the realm, or the reach of Earth as well. You know, Earth is one stop. There's thousands of other physical planes and places to be and stuff going on, so there's countless systems of magic. I feel like a lot of Earth's systems of magic are ingrained in religion or pantheon or related to deities like Norse runes, etc. There's a lot of sort of Egyptian stuff. Um, a lot of our magic seems to be tied in with working with high beings or connected to or learning from them. Um, yeah. There are many arcane systems in the universe. When I say arcane, I'm referring to a system of magic that basically studies the intricacies of the universe, of essence, of complex matters and connections. A lot of these arcane systems are both lock, key, or both. Um, for instance, a lot of the Norse workings, particularly related to the Norns, to seeing the threads, understanding them, as both lock and key. It's very dangerous, and I wouldn't recommend looking into that. I'm using it as an example in my video. There's void magic is key. Shadow magic is both lock and key. Different to shadow work, by the way. There's not a lot of the arcane stuff is key. It gives you perspectives, but there's no real lock to unlock. It's just granting you a very unique perspective of the universe. And when I say this, you could accumulate different systems. You could have different, perspectives, and you can interchange between them. We will have different pieces of knowledge, and we use what's right for the task. Same with magic. I might look at someone with a certain perspective and see them in a certain light, and then I might think, okay, well, like on a microscope, you change the head for the magnification. Same with perspectives. Oh, okay, I'm going to use a different perspective to see this person from a different light and different angle. And when you do this, generally you can see different things when looking at a person's soul, spirit, energy system, etc. It's a good way to get through illusions as well. Changing perspective and your disposition to the person will let you see through different magical defenses, illusions, that sort of thing. So to answer your question, I can't really give you much more than that, other than void and shadow. A lot of the heavier, more advanced magic systems beyond, regular practice, there's a lot of key systems there. But generally there's a lot of lock and key systems. Another example of a lock system would be herbalism or styles of magic that involve reagents, herbs, other components would be referred to as lock. You need an understanding of the components and what's going into it to be proficient. Okay. So, I'm going to move to the next question. This question is from Raven. How do you recommend people discover their clairvoyant abilities or ones they may have? So, I wanted to start off by saying people seem to obsess about what abilities they have and don't have. I get it, it's really interesting stuff, and you want to, improve your psychic abilities and your senses and get to the point where you can really see into things. But you're going about it all wrong. You need to just progress on your path of both personal and spiritual progression. Abilities will come, especially as you grow and experience change. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of people on Earth currently, a lot of our older generations, they're still the same crappy person that they were when they were 20. There's been no change, no growth, no personal whatever. They're still a crappy person. It's my personal belief we should all be growing and changing as we go along, learning new mindsets, working to better ourselves, and in doing so we better those around us. And we should always be trying to grow positively, learning new things, adapting, and learning different mindsets, etc. So when it comes to abilities, for a lot of people, myself included, they snowball. So the analogy is, as the snowball rolls down the mountain, it gathers more and more snow, becoming infinitely larger. So things build quickly, as you sort of get that momentum. You just need to have the right focus. Hang on a sec. So the simplest answer is practice. There's no easy or cheap way to improving your abilities. Admittedly, in saying that, you can purchase a product for me and I will, help things along, but I'm not going to give you an ability for free. Hang on a minute. Okay, so let's start with the example of an empath. Empath is someone who can connect very deeply to others. They often take on the emotions and energies of others, which leads them to be, if they're not well practiced, they get overwhelmed and just, all frazzled and just spaced out. But they can sort of see through lies, know what people's emotions are, see their true intentions, connect to people on a deeper level and really understand them as if they were that person, basically. So as an empath, you want to improve your abilities, go out and work with people. Work to feel their emotions and also cope with the backlash from others' emotions and energies. Go out and interact with a variety of people. Work to connect with them on a deeper level. Have that awareness of your empathic ability in general conversation. See if you can play into it a little bit. Practice on people. It's as simple as that. It's really not... I understand, there's a lack of guidance in your early stages of your path and spiritual workings and everyone's sort of fumbling together, but it's really just as simple as practice. You just need to practice. Let's take clairvoyancy. All abilities can manifest in a plethora of different ways as per the individual. For clairvoyancy, they might have fantastic future sight. For others, they might be able to just see into someone, see their soul and all the different components with great ease. It's different per person. Clairvoyancy manifests in a variety of different ways, depending on the person. Same with all the abilities, really. So you need to practice on working all your spiritual senses. Hearing, taste, sight, touch, smell, and your intuition. You need to, when you're practicing and developing your senses, you just need to practice. Try to reach out with your spirits. If you can project and go somewhere and experience the surroundings. If you're unable to project, try to tap into your spiritual senses. Just sort of try to focus on them. Just focus on as if there was a body beneath your physical body, the soul contained within the vessel. And try to open those eyes, try to move around a little bit, just sort of shrug and move the body, just by focusing, visualization and intention. And willpower, of course. Work to, expose yourself to different stimuli. Is there a candle in front of you? Try to reach out with your soul and touch it, or get close and see if you can feel it on that different level. Don't burn yourself, obviously. But the more you expose yourself, the more work you put in, the more you'll build your abilities. Clairvoyant, empath, glamour, any means of abilities or different passive bits and pieces. How do you discover your abilities? You need to focus on building your skill in energy work, spirit work, whatever craft you do. You need to focus on building well-rounded spiritual senses. And over time, you'll notice what comes with, great ease to you. Like you might have fantastic sight and you can see very far with your clairvoyancy in your eyes and see into people in a very deep level. But you might not have the same thing with your hearing. Different senses take time to build, and hearing is a big one because it's a lot of front loading and bias and mental doubt and things come into play there. Same with sight. But the more you progress, the more apparent your abilities become. It also helps touch in with people as you go, and see how they're developing as well. Keeping in mind that everyone is different and experience growth at different paces. So practice and just focus on your path and growth and spiritual growth. Next question was from Adelan. Discuss different systems and types of energy work, relevant similarities or differences between them, how to get into them, practice tips, misconceptions surrounding energy work, or magic in general. Okay, so personally, I like to lump a lot of the various styles and bits and pieces all under the category of energy work or energy manipulation. It's simple. The way in which you work with energy to achieve a purpose is entirely up to you. That's why I tend to throw everything under just, energy work. There are countless means and systems you could fragment into, but for what reason really? It's all energy work at its basis. A lot of it is separated based on the specific elements, energies, or forces in which you choose to work with, or the specific applications of that stream. For ease, I just label it all as energy work. So I'm not really going to be going to the different types, because for me it's all the same thing. It's all about how you use it. So practice tips. Practice, 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 and more practice. If you want to build your senses, offer free energy scans, soul dives, readings, etc. All for the point of practice. I've never known anyone to turn down a free reading, within reason. In the case of energy scans and looking into one's energies, it doesn't matter if your interpretation is incorrect or your senses are off. You'll learn to recognize energies by a plethora of different traits. You build the knowledge and wisdom to identify affinities, to know what you're looking at, because affinities can manifest in a variety of different ways. Sometimes when I do my energy scans, in particular, what I like to do, and this is my most accurate method, is I'll take a little sample from the person's energy system, just like a little test tube with some energy in it, and I'll poke and prod and pry it apart to figure out what's there, what's building up this energy. Okay, yep, they've got some fire. What's that? That's a weird color. I'll say it's a weird yellow-white color. That's a bit weird. I sort of poke, pry with it, might add some darkness to the mix. Does the light respond aggressively to it? Yes. Oh, it's light. Or no. Okay, it could still be light, but it feels more fiery. Okay, yep, it's coming through now. That's solar. That's a solar energy with a touch of light there too. That's the way I like to do things with energy scans. Take a sample, really just put it under my eyes, and just basically pry it apart. That's not. It's a bit of an advanced technique, but that's what I like to do. I test it with. I'm listening to it. I'm hearing the flow. I can smell it. I can feel it. Is it warm, hot, cold? How does it flow? What's its form? And obviously, then testing it with different energy types to see how it reacts. Does it try to join with it? Does it, try to fight against it? Is it aggressive to this or that? How does it behave? All these things can help you learn and discern what affinities are. So it doesn't matter if you're incorrect. That's the point of practice. You practice and you get things right and you get things wrong. Some people are really just hard to read. They might have craploads of defensive measures up, illusions, barriers, means of deflection, means of reflection, meaning it's like a mirror. You're looking, it reflects. You're looking at yourself to move your eyes off of them. It's hard to read that. It's hard to get around that. One thing I like to do is I'll state, hey, it's Joel. I'm here doing your soul dive as you requested. Can you let me through? Generally, the curtains part. Not always, but that's a good way of, asserting your intention. So the energies relax a little bit and the soul thinks, oh, okay, it's Joel. Sure, I'll let things relax a bit. When it comes to defensive measures, you can, like I said, use those different perspectives as mentioned earlier. So look, you just need to practice, practice, and practice. Offer free readings, scans, build your energy, your senses up. I don't like to refer to things as clairaudience. I know it's sort of ingrained in the witchcraft and psychic community, but for me, that's your hearing. That's your spiritual hearing. Claircognizance, intuition, pretty much. Because intuition can manifest in lots of different ways for people as well. So look, for practice, back to practice, you just need to practice, You build your senses, you build your knowledge, and more. You know, take advice from experienced practitioners, but take it like a pinch of salt. Everyone is limited in some way or manner. Everyone is limited by their perspective, whether you accept that or not. Not because they're not open-minded, but because they have 5 different perspectives, and there's thousands of perspectives in the universe. They're not going to be able to see everything from every slight angle. They live their own path. So be open and listen to people and learn from people, but don't follow them. Live your own way, but heed the words of others. I went on a bit of a ramble there, but I hope you guys can hear some interesting stuff from that. My last question was from Anzan. What's something complex that you understand about the universe? So within the universe, there are many different gates or gateways that exist. These gates open and close seemingly on a whim, and they can drastically change the universe. They affect the ebb and flow of a variety of energies, forces, and other essences. Therefore, the universe is in a state of constant flux, change. In saying that, I'm bringing it to your attention, but I don't want anyone to go mess with gates. It's very dangerous stuff. I don't recommend it. It's just an understanding of mine. Yeah. So I'm going to leave it there today. That's all my questions I had. I did try to keep things pretty structured, but I do like to go on a ramble, so I think, this would be really cool to mention. And I know they'd find this interesting. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave your questions down below. I'm trying to build up my YouTube channel and build up the activity on it, so I'd really appreciate if you were to leave comments down below. Let me know what you think, and we can go from there. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.